Anyone who comes into the city with the intent of committing acts of violence or destruction is not welcome here. We know that our community is frustrated and angry about the violence we've seen in Olympia in recent weeks. As both your mayor and a longtime resident, I share each of these emotions and wanted to speak out to reassure the public, especially with the possibility of more tensions coming to our streets. Along with many of you, we've heard about the plans for additional rallies and demonstrations on September 18th. To be clear, we support the rights of individuals to peacefully gather and exercise their First Amendment rights. Olympia sits proudly as the seat of our state's government, and we can shine as an example of freedom of speech and thought. Unfortunately, as we've seen in the past, some who march through our streets are only here to cause chaos. Instead of promoting peace and productive ideas, they bring intimidation through their words, actions, and even weapons. That is why tonight, I implore the members of our community, do not engage with those who come to our city with disruptive intentions. It's difficult to prevent criminal acts from those who are intent on committing them. But what we can do is hold accountable those who commit such crimes. Too often, positive messages and historic movements are co-opted by those who have their own agendas. We will not let those agendas eclipse the values of our community. Only by holding on to our community values will we be able to fight against the hate and bias that can turn us against each other. We can also be prepared for future events. We're all frustrated that the city was unable to manage last weekend's events and are asking our city leadership and police department to take the lessons learned from last weekend's events and use them to prepare and hone our processes and practices as part of our preparations for the coming weekend and beyond. Anyone who comes into the city with the intent of committing acts of violence or destruction is not welcome here. OPD will use the practices outlined in our guiding principles for demonstrations and crowd control and make every effort to intervene early and swiftly to address lawlessness. There are so many things about Olympia to celebrate, especially after what we faced over the last 18 months or so. Let's do everything we can as a community to continue our strong tradition of making Olympia a safe and inclusive place where hate doesn't have a home. Are there any additional comments from council members? All right, seeing Councilmember Madrone.
I just have a quick question for the city manager. We've received numerous complaints about police response on September 4th, and I'm just curious if the complaint process has been initiated.
Yeah, we are combing through. We've got a lot of emails over the last week or so that I'm aware of, and we are combing through all of those, and we'll be sending all those that are complaint-based on to be investigated.
Any other questions? All right, with that, I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.